Hello, Michael, a Mercedes guy here, and we're going to do a little explanation of what my shop is like. And now most people have big rolling toolboxes, and you always got to pull out trays, and maybe you don't get the right drawer, and you always got to pull out, shove back. I don't waste time doing that. I like old school tool board. And with the car right here, it's only a couple steps to grabbing exactly the tool I need without searching. And I have this as fractional sizes, and this area as metric numbered sizes. And I label at the top here of the end wrenches, and that's the same size all the way down. So I've got half drive deep. Oh, that's actually a 3/8. Okay, then 3/8 on this level and 3/8 deep. And then over here where it gets smaller, another 2 rows for 1/4 drive sockets. And then above, I've got my ratchet end wrenches. So if I need a certain socket, there's 15 straight down, there it is. Another trick I like doing, and that is how to store your power tools. Now some of these will stand up. You know, if you knock them over onto the floor, you might break something. I prefer holes in my bench. And if you notice, they are about 2 or 3 sizes. So I've used a speed bit and cut the holes so that they actually conform to the shape. And that's right there, it's going to stay. So on. So it makes it nice and handy. They aren't in drawers. You can always just grab it. It's ready to go. It's not turned around. It's not laying down. You can just grab any one you need. Another trick. Now they have these magnetic trays. To me, they're useless, except to use for this purpose of catching the filings off your grinder. I have found that if you use these to put your tools in, your tools become magnetic. And then there's this little fine crap on your tools. So I never use them, even for nuts and bolts, because still you'll end up with a little bit of magnetism on your tools, which you don't want. So that's real handy right there to catch that stuff. Another thing I do, I always keep a container of clean water in case you get something in your eye. You want to deal with it right away. And you can just run that over your eyeball. Clean your eye. If you get a metal or particle, especially, or any particle in your eye, you never want to blink. You never want to rub your eye. And so you can only hold your eye open for a certain period of time, and then you're automatically going to blink. So that's why you want to have a bottle handy real quick so you can deal with it within seconds. Also, in my tool area here, I've got drawers that I've accumulated over time, so every drawer is different. But I also have them numbered. B1, B2, B3, B4, so on, so that if I have a helper and I need a certain tool, I can actually say, okay, B4, so on. Now, another nice thing, I put in, these are school lunch trays. And for very small tools, you don't want them all piled on top of each other. You want them easy to get to. So for instance, this one is my small screwdriver, and all of my Phillips point one direction, and all of my flat point the other direction. So it's easy to spot what I need. And so here I've got glues, here I've got mirrors, scrapers, so on. And this makes, in my opinion, takes much less time to do a particular job on a car, because I'm not pulling out drawers, I'm not walking more than a few feet. So, in addition to my bench area, fire extinguisher. You always want to have one close. And this happens to be a water pressure extinguisher. However, over on a far wall over there, I've got a big ABC extinguisher. And you want ABC. ABC means that you can use it on a fuel fire as well. Because I wouldn't want to use a water extinguisher on a fuel fire. It'd just spread the fire. Now I've got my welding tanks here, my oxyacetylene. Now this is something really important. When you open one of these valves, or both valves, you never look this direction. You always turn your head to it and open it. This is being safe. I've never heard of a gauge exploding amongst my friends, but it has been known to happen. And if a gauge explodes, it's going to blast all this glass right in your face. So you never look when you open your tanks. And I like storing my hose back out of the way here. Now, there are a lot of different brands of torches. I love this. This is a Harris brand, and they have the patent on this flip lever. This flip lever shuts off both the acetylene and oxygen in one shot. So when you turn off your torch, you aren't moving the valves. And when you turn on your torch, you just do a flip of this turning valve, and you don't have to mess around with any adjustments because it's already set from the previous usage. So when you do put the torch away, you want to be careful not bump the valves, and it'll be ready to go. And this not only saves time, but it saves oxygen and acetylene, because you don't have to play around adjusting valves. And the Harris torch, the actual torch tip comes off thus, and your welding tip can go on. Harris torches are a bit more money, but it'll pay for itself in just a few years in the amount of gas used in fiddling around and adjusting your torch. So, way to go, Harris.